Hello, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks so much for hitting play. Let's go ahead and hop right into our practice. Let's begin by lying down on the back.
Don't forget to mute us.
Oh, thanks, Sarah. Good looking out. Teamwork. And mute all. There we go. So lying down, take your legs long, your arms long. You can close the eyes if that feels natural for you. And let the body drop. Allow yourself to unload. And feel the weight of your hips dropping, and using your mind's eye, just visualize your tailbone. Now as you breathe, let your breath travel up the spine, sending your breath into the back of your brain. And as you continue to breathe here, you're just observing the breath wash up and down the spine. And throughout our practice, we'll be playing with coaxing the breath outwards, coaching the breath to explore the lungs. So as you inhale, see if you can take your breath into your sides more. And continuing through the sides, play with taking it all the way down to the bottom. And continue to grow, stretching it up to the top as well. Building this informed breath and observing the expansion and the contraction with each one. And using that as a means to sync our body and our brain together. And so continue with this breathing and take a big full body stretch, arms long, legs long. You can roll out your wrists, roll out your ankles. Take your arms to cactus, so you got your, or goalpost, I guess you could say, and we'll walk the feet in so that your heels are right below your knees. Feet are like outer hip width distance apart. Now as you arch your spine, you're turning your tail up towards your shoulders. So if I was there, I could slide my hand underneath your low back and clear it. Hug your chin towards your chest. And you know what, let's feel the balls of the feet drop too, so you're light on your heels. They might even barely lift up. As you hold this, let's inhale and fill up the low belly. Exhale, relax your spine completely. Now turn your tail up towards your knees, so your hips might leave the ground an inch or two. Don't get too carried away though. You don't need to go too high with it. But with your tail up towards your knees, tilt your chin up and back. Tilt your chin up and back so you're opening up through the neck, the throat, and keep that. Push your elbows way down into the ground. And as you push your elbows down, you'll feel that really light up the back body. And you might even notice one arm fires a little more effectively than the other. So you might play with balancing that. This will be our exhale movement, so pull out all the air. Nicely done. Relax completely. We'll put that into vinyasa, put it into breath to movement. Inhale, arch your spine, so your chin towards your chest, arching through the lower back. Exhale, round your spine, turn your tail up, your chin back, and of course the elbows press down. Inhales, arch, chin to chest. Exhales, round, chin up, elbows down. And keep on going through these on your own. Using this to not only wake up the spine, but also to fire up the shoulders. And coordinate the breath and the movements together. While you go through these on your inhales, feel the balls of your feet drop. And on your exhales, feel the heels of your feet drop. So there's this kind of rocking sensation through the body. And observe how the back of your skull kind of scrubs up and down on the floor. Finish up one more round like this. And come on back to neutral when you're ready. Straighten your legs, straighten your arms, and pause for a moment to feel. All right, left arm up overhead. Go ahead and roll over onto your left side. So you're stacking your hips, stacking your shoulders. It can be helpful to bend the knees to help out with your balance. Lift your top leg and stretch it way out. As you lift and stretch your top leg, press your bottom leg down, right? So using that as kind of an anchor. We'll keep that, reach the top arm up overhead. Use your bottom hand to grab your top wrist. Now the bottom hand grabs the top wrist, reach your arm and leg in opposite direction. Keep pressing through the bottom leg for balance, and maybe, just maybe, take your lifted leg back behind you a few inches, so you're finding an extension through the hip. Send a few deep breaths into your low back. Feel your low back fill up. Inhale. Exhale, release completely. Drop the effort. Nicely done. Let's pull the knees in towards the chest. Bend your bottom elbow. You can rest your head on your arm there like a little pillow. Now this top arm, we're gonna slide it out and away so you're rolling your chest toward the ground. On your inhale, lift your top arm, eyes follow. Oh yeah, arch your back too, so get that kind of booty pop action going. Then when you open your chest, let the arm just kind of hang out. It's okay if it's not touching the floor, let it be where it wants to. Just let the arm be really heavy. In fact, pretend your arm is asleep, and then lead with your shoulder as you inhale, start to lift it up. So dead weight really as you lift your arm up. Exhale, slide your arm back down. So you can continue with that movement, or if you want to add in a little bit more, you can offset your top leg by sliding your knee back in line with your hip. We'll keep it there. Now inhale, the top arm lifts. Exhale, rolling the chest open to rest. Continuing, inhale, top arm lifts. If you're doing the leg setup, slide your knees back together. Exhale, melt the chest down. Inhale, lift. If you're doing legs, offset the legs. Exhale, chest open. Inhale, lift. Legs come back together if that's your thing. Exhale, lower. And take about 2 to 3 more of these on your own. So working the chest and shoulders, and then also working the space in front of the hip. And I really like to initiate the movements here from the core, and that will give you a bit more of a stretch. So notice if you're moving from your hands or your feet, arms or legs, and take the effort more towards the midline of the body. Next time your chest is closed, return to your back, legs long, arms long. Pause to feel. Right arm up overhead, roll over onto your right side. I'm going to change direction so you can see a bit better. So as you're rolling onto your right side, we're stacking shoulders, stacking hips. And of course, if you need to bend your knees, that can help with the balance. We'll lift the top leg, stretch it way out. Lots of length, almost like your top leg's trying to leave without you. And push your bottom leg into the floor a lot to help out with the support. You can reach the top arm overhead, grab hold with your bottom wrist, and reach the arm and leg in opposite direction. And even get the toes and the fingers involved as you reach. Consider sending your top heel behind you a few inches, finding a gentle extension through the hip. And we can breathe in deeply into the low back. Last few breaths here. Inhale. Exhale, drop the effort, release. All right, take it onto your back now. Oh no, don't do that, I lied. I lied. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So your knees are in, you can bend your bottom arm and rest your head on there like a little pillow. This top hand slides away, so you're rolling your chest towards the ground. Let the arm be heavy, and inhale, lift the top arm up. Exhale, opening the chest and resting the arm. Let the arm stay very heavy. So it's almost like you're moving through heavy water. Lead with your shoulder as you inhale, lift it up. Exhale, roll it back down. And you can keep going with this, do your thing. Or if you're adding the legs, you'll offset the top leg, sliding your top knee back in line with the hip. And if that's too much or stressful, then feel free to skip it. And we'll add in the arm. Inhale, lift the top arm. Exhale, roll the chest open. Drop all the effort completely. Inhale, lift the arm. You can slide your knees back together as you exhale, close the chest down. Inhales, lift, offsetting the legs if you're doing that. Exhale, rest. Inhale, lift. We'll slide the knees back together as we exhale, close it down. Keep rolling through these. Take 2, 3, however many. Go at your own pace. I find that the slower I go with this, I'm more able to drag the bones, if that makes sense. And the more drag you get through the bones, the more stretch, the more sensation may be available. As you cruise through this, notice the floor kind of massaging underneath the right arm there. How the floor uses compression to release any tension through the bottom ribs there. Next time your chest is closed, now you can return to your back, legs long, arms long. Take a moment to pause and sense the effects of the actions. All right, knees in, cross your heels. Have a little fun with it as you rock up and down. Let it feel good to massage your back, iron out the spine. And then we'll come all the way up into tabletop, all fours. So here in your table, let's tuck the toes under. Tuck the toes and sit your hips back towards your heels. Now walk your hands maybe a handprint further. Now this is a really active version of child's pose. So as your hands press down and forward, dig your toes into the ground from pinky to big toe evenly and dig them into the ground and push them back. Now play with the idea of growing your neck longer, like you're trying to stretch the top of your head towards your fingers. Feeling lots of space in the side bodies here. Inhale. Use your hands to pull yourself up in kind of a table. So it's like table, but your hands are going to be a little further forward. So not stacked directly underneath the shoulders this time. You can untuck your toes too. As you inhale to cow pose, feel your hands pull back, your heart come forward. Exhale, round to cat. As you hug your chin towards your chest, carve your tail toward the ground, and feel your hands pull apart. Inhale to cow, feel the hands pull back, the chin go up. Exhale to cat, rounding inward, pulling the palms apart. Take a few of these cat-cow variations on your own. And I encourage you to notice if you feel one side of your body working a little harder or a little less than the other side of your body. And that's not something that we necessarily need to change, but it is important information as to how your body works for you. So come on back to neutral and walk your hands in, so regular, good old-fashioned tabletop this time. And take your eyes forward so your neck stays nice and long. Now lift your right leg straight back, point your toes, and lift your heel above parallel with your hips. And set it back down. Now, as you lift your foot, cross your foot over toward the left. I'm gonna scoot over to the side, maybe you can see a little bit better. So I'm gonna lift that right heel, cross it over to the left as far as possible. So the ball of my foot's on the floor, and then I'm gonna push through the hands, lower my heel towards the ground. Come on back to neutral. Inhale, lift your foot back to parallel with the floor, then lift. Exhale, cross and push back. So just kind of picking up the pace. Inhale, lift your heel high. Exhale, cross and lower. Take a few of these at your own. And as you do, use your mind's eye, use your thinker, to visualize a connection from your heel to your hip. And that's creating a form of stability in the low body so that maybe we can find a little more access to the upper body later. Go ahead and set it down, switch it out. And we'll take our first round nice and slow. So lifting your left foot up. First, bring your foot up in line with your hip. And feel your left hip drop an inch or two. So thigh bone is lifting, but the hip is dropping. Now keep that, lift your heel up past the hip. Hold. Notice the weight in your hands, drop the center of your hands. Then cross your lifted foot over to the right, ball of your foot toward the ground. Now as you lower your heel toward the floor, press into your hands. So getting into the side body and the hamstring all at once. All right, let's put it into movement. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, cross and lower. Inhales, lift. Exhales, cross and lower. Keep rolling through these at your own pace. We got just a few more. You might notice the temptation to kind of just mindlessly flow through it and just kind of get it done. And that's fine. But you might also use this opportunity to build a relationship between your foot and your hips, because the two have a lot of influence over the other. All right, come on back to the center, back into your all fours, tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. First down dog, oh boy. So if you need any movements, feel free to find those. But do feel your hands press down and forward here. And your feet press down and back. And more than okay to keep the heels lifted. And just like we did in that child's pose, see if you can grow the back of your neck longer, almost like you're trying to stretch the top of the head towards the hands. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Step to the front of your mat. And inhale to a half lift, so you're pushing off your shins, maybe your thighs. And for this one, I'd like for you to reach your hands in line with your hips. So your palms are facing the body, fingers closed, please. Now feel the tips of your fingers stretch way back as you squeeze the backs of the shoulders together. As we squeeze the back body, we're finding a little more openness to the front body. Last breath or two here. Keep your heels rooted. Play with leaning your weight forward just a bit. Inhale. You can bend your knees, forward fold on your exhale. Let the arms just hang. You'll inhale to stand. Reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, arms release down by the side. All right, so we'll continue warming up with some sun salutes. Actually, before we do that, I lied. Before we do that, let's take the feet a little bit wider than hip distance, so maybe even like mat distance apart. So they're at mat distance apart. Let's reach the arms up overhead and grab hold of opposite elbows. So holding on to opposite elbows, feel the elbows reach up evenly toward the ceiling. Now bend your knees and fold yourself forward and down. So for me, I've got really short legs, so I notice I gotta shorten my stance a bit. You might have to shorten or make it longer. But be prepared to adjust your feet into a way that feels good for you. Now here, let's inhale the front of the body longer. Exhale the back of the body softer. Releasing the head, the neck. Last few breaths here. Now keep hold of your elbows pushed down through your feet as you inhale up to stand, arms up. Once more, keep the elbows as you fold yourself back down. Go ahead and release your arms. Heel toe your feet out wider if you haven't already. Now take your right hand onto your right leg and your left hand to your hip. Start to roll your chest up and open toward the ceiling, sending your hips forward even and lifting your top arm up overhead. So it's kind of like a weird side body bend. Inhale. Exhale, release, roll your chest down. Take it to the other side, left hand, left leg. Roll your chest open, kind of stacking through the shoulders, top arm up. Turning your belly toward the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, release it down. Now let's take it with the breath. Inhale, right hand to leg, roll the chest open. Exhale, down and switch. Inhale, left hand to leg, roll it open. Exhale, down and switch. Go ahead and take one or two more like this on your own. So I notice when I do this that I gotta lift my bottom hand like halfway up the shin in order to rotate through the chest. So you might play with that. Finish up the one that you're on. The next time you're back in the center, you can pause there. And we'll inhale up to stand. Bring your feet together. Nicely done. And continuing our warm up with some salutes. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward and down. Lengthen, inhale. Step back to plank. Drop your knees for this one. And kind of like a drawbridge, lower all the way down slowly. Untuck the toes here, push the tops of the feet down. Inhale to cobra. As you lift heart, squeeze the backs of the shoulders, just like in that half lift. Exhale and lower. Slide your hands back an inch or two. Let's take two more like that. Inhale to lift into cobra. Even the back of the skull growing. Exhale, release. Once more, inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. And tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Step to the front, inhale, lengthen. And you know what, in fact, when we hold in this inhale, lengthen, let's do it with the hands reaching back, squeezing the back body together. And exhale, fold, let go of the arms. Inhale to stand, arms reach up. Exhale, releasing the arms down. 2 more like that, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale to half lift. Let's go ahead and hover the arms out to the side, squeeze the shoulders. So back to plank, exhale, and lower. Maybe taking a chaturanga this time. Inhale to back bend, up dog or cobra is fine. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Step to the front, inhale, lengthen. Reaching the hands back, of course. Exhale and fold. Inhale to stand, go ahead and reach it up. Exhale, release the arms down. Once more, inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, reach through the arms. Plank pose, exhale and lower. Inhale to back bend. And exhale, down dog. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Step to the front, inhale, lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale to stand, reach the arms up. Exhale, release the arms down. Nice work, everyone. Let's take a big step back with the legs. Wide stance here, setting up for our warrior two. Turning your right foot out. And of course, making sure that your heels are lined up with each other. We'll start to slide a bend into the front knee. Put more weight through the pinky toe side of your back foot. And for a lot of us, this front knee wants to turn in, so you might even use your hand to manually guide it out. Floating through the arms. You might even imagine that if I was there, if I were to push down on the arms, they would stay still. So bringing in that element of strength and meeting it with a deep sense of calm, fortitude. Last few breaths. Keeping the bend, hinge yourself forward. You can either take elbow to knee for side angle or set your hand down in or outside of the foot, but either do the arms straight up overhead or find the extension. Okay, so your version of side angle, whatever that might mean. Whatever you're working with today, drop your back foot down even more. Tone and turn your abdomen up toward the ceiling. Notice the quality behind the eyes and all of the subtle characteristics of the breath. And oftentimes, just by giving them our attention, we can shift into a more focused state. Inhale. Press down through your feet, exhale to rise up. Switch it out, other side. When your feet are set up, slide the bend in. Notice the tendency to lean forward, shift it right back over the hips. Then once you've put a little bit more weight through your back foot, then you can consider flying the arms. Focusing the eyes forward. And I find that the rooting of the feet almost creates this upward lifting sensation, right? So by pressing down, we're receiving that support from the ground. Finding that felt sense of being held up. Propped up, held up, I don't know. And so we'll keep the bend in the front knee as we come into our side angle. You might do elbow to knee. You might take your hand in or outside of the foot. And make your choice with the top arm. So arms to north and south, perfectly fine. Otherwise, find the full extension so it's like your arm is almost part of the back leg. Nice long line of energy. Feel the underbelly of your back thigh wake up and draw in. So as the hip points pull towards each other, lean your top shoulder back, like standing to the side. And last few breaths here. Inhale. Exhale, press down to lift up. Pivot towards the front, so setting up a triangle pose. You might even narrow your stance a bit if you need to. For me, I find that angling the back foot in slightly is helpful with triangle. So we'll reach forward and set your hand down on something, as long as it's not your knee. And feel your bottom hip drag toward the center of your mat. And as you press the hips forward, we're using that to lean the shoulders back. Feet pressed down and apart from each other. Checking in with the bottom bicep. See if you can turn your bottom bicep forward. And softening the face for the last few breaths. Inhale. Take your top hand to your hip, stabilizing. Look down. As we prepare for half moon, we're going to bend into the front knee and set your hand off and to the right. Lean forward a lot, so that you're able to lift up your back foot. Begin to stack your hips, stack your shoulders, turn your abdomen up toward the ceiling, and consider straightening your bottom leg, which is not a requirement if you don't have to. For the cherry on top, you might stack your arms. Where is the attention? Notice what parts of the body are kind of out of your mind's reach, and stretch the attention into places it might not normally be. Creating a thorough observation of the pose. Bringing the entire body online. Inhale. Slowly, quietly for extra credit, step yourself right back up to where you started. Nicely done, switch it out. So same thing with the heels lined up, and you might angle your back foot forward, especially if you have the tighter hips. Sliding your bottom arm wherever it wants to go, and stacking through the top. Triangle pose. You might notice your left hip kind of way out to the left there. See if you can drag your left hip in between your feet. And as your feet press down and apart, tone your belly to turn the low belly up toward the ceiling. Bottom bicep is forward, of course, allowing that to spread the collarbones a bit wider. Equal parts rooting and lifting here. Inhale. Look down, take your hand to your waist, setting up your half moon, bend into your front knee a lot, setting your left hand off to the side. And you can even keep that bottom leg bent so you can hold the ground, right? Stack your hips, stack your shoulders, spreading your aerial toes wide, and then you might consider straightening the bottom leg. But as you lift the heel high, feel that spreading apart across the collar. Maybe even engaging the back body more to find more access to the chest. If you haven't already, you might reach up through the top arm as well. Last few breaths here. Let the face be soft and relaxed. Inhale. Slowly, quietly, return back to where you came from. All right, folks, nice work. Parallel your feet to one another and clasp your hands behind your back. If clasping your hands is not comfortable, you can hold your wrists, hold your elbows, anything to help the front of the body open a bit more. If possible, heels of your hands touch together as well. Fold yourself forward. More than welcome to bend the knees if you need to. And reach your arms towards overhead. And find the elements of down dog here. So push your feet down and back. Let the hip bones lift a lot. Allowing the spine to lengthen and drop. Let's say relax rather than drop, right? So I guess dropping, there's the connotation of breaking. So let's go with relax rather than drop. Last few breaths here. Nicely done, everyone. Inhale to half lift, take your hands to your waist. Exhale all the way up to stand. Hop your feet together. Come on down to your knees. You can face forward, face sideways, whatever works best for you. But you're here on your knees. Find Tadasana. So kneeling Tadasana. So feel the kneecaps lift, the glutes engage, the pit of the belly lifting up toward the heart. Now make thumbs up. Point your thumbs forward. Point the thumbs forward. Then we'll lift the arms up as far as you can. Right, so it's okay if you kind of hit a wall. Just go as far as you can here. Then turn your thumbs in. Start to squeeze the back body as you rotate those in thumbs and the arms all the way back. So by the time your hands come alongside of you, your thumbs are pointing back behind you. Right, now we're gonna reverse the action, and you might find that this is harder or easier. Squeeze it back as you rotate your thumbs out. Still squeezing, come all the way up. So the thumbs point in at the top and then thumbs up at the top. Releasing back down. Easy peasy, right? So controlled articular rotations through the shoulders. Let's go ahead and take a few more. Inhaling, thumbs up. Turn your thumbs in as you rotate your arms back. Keep going with the hands, keep going with the thumbs. Arms alongside of you, thumbs behind you. Reverse it, inhale up. Spinning your thumbs. See if you can lift your arms as you do that. Yeah, awesome. Come on up. Exhale, releasing the arms down. I'm gonna go sideways for this next one. This will be our last one. But I think it might be easier to see this way. So we'll inhale it up. Turning your thumbs in, squeezing the back body, and then I'm reaching my arms behind me as I lower down. And then arms alongside of you, thumbs are back. Now check this out. So your thumbs are back, reach your thumbs straight back, squeezing your back. Wow, that's hard. Then once you're up as high as you can, then start to turn the thumbs out, kind of like hitchhiker style. And then reach the arms up, whoa, and exhales, relax down. Wow, relax. In fact, take child's pose. You can take your arms long, you can take your arms forward or back, whatever you need. Take a few moments here to observe the heat that you just made in your shoulders. That kind of repatterning that's occurring. All right, nice work. Let's come right back into downward facing dog. Onto the fun stuff. Go ahead and step your right foot forward. Remember, you can always carry your foot there if you need to. Now look ahead of you and pull your 2 feet towards each other, kind of like you're scissoring the inner thighs together. Now find this feeling of your hips being held. Your hips being held, your hips lifted. Keep that, and we'll lift into a high lunge, stacking the shoulders over the hips. If you're in the tight hamstring club, you get to bend your knee a little bit, right? So by bending the knee, you're allowing your pelvis to drop and your pubic bone to lift. So pelvis dropping, pubic bone lifting. And of course, arms overhead. Feel free to take the hands wide if you need more space for your shoulders. And as the front of the heart lifts, let the back of your heart drop. Inhale. Hinge yourself forward a bit. With your hands to heart, we're setting up a twist. Round your spine and turn to the right, connecting your elbow outside of your knee. Now you can always drop your back knee, right? So if you need more support, let your back knee drop down. So as we've got this twist, hug your right thigh bone towards your left inner thigh. Right thigh bone toward the left inner thigh. Awesome. Now feel your heart grow forward and your tail back. Connecting the hands together firmly. Last few. Inhale. Unwind, set your hands to the floor. Good news, drop your back knee. And straighten up your front leg. Straightening your front leg, it might require you to wiggle your front foot forward a bit more. Now with your legs straight here, and your toes flared if possible, round your spine. Hands press down and forward, rounding your spine. So very much like that weird tabletop cat-cow we did earlier. Right, so kind of recalling that activation through your shoulders and your back, and bringing in the hamstring stretch as well. I really like to push my heel down and kind of pull the heel back toward the body a bit, isometrically. Inhale. Whew. Exhale, release. Let's go ahead and bend. So bending your front knee. Again, pull your legs towards each other. Find a little bit of a cat back through your low back, okay? And twist your right arm up. Come out, set your hand down. Come on out, set your hand down. Pretend that didn't happen. Take your bottom hand out to the left a bit and turn your fingers out like 30 degrees. So I'm taking my hand out a little bit to the side, right? So forward and out to the side. Find that same activation through your legs, your low back. Now turn your arm up. Right, I just want to protect your shoulder and wrist a bit more. So sorry about that. Some of us will stay, others might reach the hand back. So you're kind of in line with the shoulder and the hand. Or bend your back knee, play with the quad stretch here. Now for the quad stretch, you're pulling your front heel and your back knee towards each other, then toning your belly to twist up toward the ceiling. So we've got a twist and very much a back bend, as well as a big old quad stretch. Last few. Inhale. Exhale, release. Both hands down to frame the foot here. Let's take the hands forward a little bit. Tuck your back toe, lift your knee. So you're in this kind of lunge with your hands forward. Now lean onto your front leg so much that you start to lift off of your back. So as we come towards a standing split, you might find that this is enough, right? And you can stay here, hands to the ground, lifting your foot. Or you might come onto fingertips, play with straighten your leg, squeezing your torso towards your thigh, and lifting that top leg up as high as you can. And we won't be here too long, but become familiar with the sensation of being upside down. All right, now lift up halfway if you haven't already. So hands forward, you might need to bend your knee.
And now start to stack your top hip over your bottom. So coming back towards that half moon pose that we did earlier. So as you stack your hips, you might even take your left hand to your waist, coming back towards half moon. Stay here in your half moon or bend your top knee, grab hold of the hand to foot, take Chapasana, and kicking your foot into the hand. As you kick foot into hand, squeeze the backs of the shoulders, dropping your standing foot down further. Rooting, let's say rooting. Trying to rephrase the dropping. Take that out of the vocabulary as I fall down. Inhale. Slowly rewind your actions, closing the hip. Come on back to your lunge. Easy peasy. Inhale to plank pose. Either take down dog or enjoy your vinyasa. Take a breath or two in your down dog. Other side, go ahead and step your left foot forward. Pull your 2 feet towards each other. Take your eyes forward so you're very focused. And create the sensation of your hips being held in place where they are. And once you're ready, we'll lift the arms up and over the shoulders. Excuse me, over the hips. Tight hamstring friends, feel free to bend your back knee. Getting a more stacked position through the torso. Allow the eyes to be soft and the gaze focused. Stay strong through the legs and hinge your way forward about halfway. Hands to your heart, now round your spine. As you turn to the left, connect your elbow outside of your knee. Feel your left thigh bone carving toward your right inner thigh. And allow that to kind of lean the shoulders back so the spine is in the midline of the body. Feet pressing down and pulling towards each other. Last few. Inhale. Slowly release, hands down to frame the foot. Nice work, everyone. Go ahead and drop the back knee and start to straighten your front leg. You might need to wiggle your front foot forward. Press your heel down, and as your hands press down and forward, round your spine. So you're finding a cat back here. Push your heel down, round your spine, chin towards the chest, hands pressing down and away. You might even flare your outer 2 toes. See if that informs the stretch at all. Inhale. Lifting up. Return to your lunge. Lift up your back knee as well. Now, as we set up a standing split, go ahead and rest your chest onto your leg, right? So you're supported. Now with your hands forward, lean into your front foot so much that you're able to lift the back leg. And for some of us, staying with the bottom leg bent is where it's at. Otherwise, you'll straighten your leg, lifting your top leg up and squeezing your chest towards the thigh. Just like your forward fold, the front of the body gets very long and the back of the body soft. All right, stay here or transitioning towards our half moon. Begin to turn your top hip over the bottom, so you're stacking hips. And option to also stack your shoulders, taking your hand to your waist. You might consider bending your top knee, finding the foot there, taking Shavasana. It's okay to fall out a few times, right? That's what we're here for, is practice. If you are taking the top foot, kick your foot into your hand, let your chest and shoulders open. Squeezing the back of the body, finding a little more access to the front. Inhale. Slowly, quietly rewind, coming back through your lunge. Wonderful job. We'll inhale to plank. You can either take your vinyasa or skip it and simply relax in your down dog. Just enjoying the afterglow of the poses. All right, go ahead and walk your hands back to meet your feet and come all the way up to standing. All right, folks. Quick time check. Oh, we got so much time. All right, so we've been working towards our dancer's pose. And there's, as usual, lots and lots of options. If you're not super familiar with this, you might go towards a wall or a dresser, tree. If you want some extra help with the balance, use your resources, right? Okay, so finding this kind of equal standing, so feet hip distance apart. Left hand to your waist. Shift into your left foot and grow some roots there. As you bend your right knee, hold on to the outside of your foot with your hand. Now squeeze the back of your knee shut, and as you slide your knee behind you, start to kick your foot into your hand. Kick your foot into your hand so you're feeling the weight of the two resisting each other. Stay, or lift your left arm up. Stay, or kick your foot into your hand so much that you start to level your chest towards the floor. Reaching through your front fingers, reaching through your aerial toes. Focusing, of course, through the eyes. Stay strong through your standing leg. Inhale. Play with coming out just as smoothly, as slowly as you came in, and release down. Pause to feel. Right hand to your waist, shift into your right foot. Find your focal point with your eyes. And as you bend your left leg, hang on to it with your hand, grabbing the outside of the foot. Flare your lifted toes, start to slide your lifted knee behind you and kick your foot into your hand. Let your shoulder go with it. Stay or lift the top arm. Stay or kick your foot into your hand so much that you get a bit of a fold. Grounding, lifting through your standing knee. Reaching opposite directions. Last few, squeeze the back body tight, allowing the front body to open. Inhale, smoothly, slowly. Tadasana, exhale. Pausing briefly. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold out and down. Inhale to lengthen. Step back to plank. You can take your final vinyasa here or skip it. From your down dog, we'll inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Step through to a seat and bring your legs straight out ahead. Now taking a seat here, bend your knees to bring the bottoms of your feet together. And hold on to your feet kind of like they're a book, kind of like you're opening up a book. So the pinky toes come towards each other and the big toes kind of scoop out. Become aware of your belly. See if you can use your belly to drop your knees, even if it's just a tiny bit. And allow your heart to pull forward, lifting up. You can stay, or round your spine to lower towards a fold. So there's many different versions of this pose. Today, let's play with the rounded back version. So very much like a cat back here. And can you find that rounded spine? And also hug your abdomen back, using it to help lower through the knees. No crunchy shoulders here, please. Allow your neck to be long. Inhale. Exhale, come on up. Use your hands to close your legs. Roll yourself down onto your back. Give yourself a little hug, rock your hips side to side. And we'll set the bottoms of the feet down. So we've been playing with these archetypes of hugging the back body to open the front. And so we'll continue with that, playing a bit with our fish pose. So with this version of fish pose, bring the tips of the index fingers together and overlap the thumbs, kind of like this. Do that underneath your sacrum with your palms down and the backs of your hands onto your sacrum. Your feet are hip distance apart. Actually, let's bring the feet together. There we go. Feet are together. Now, as you hug your chin towards your chest, walk your elbows towards each other, then push into your forearms to lift your chest. So I'm still hugging my chin in. I'm gonna walk the elbows towards each other, squeeze the back body to lift the chest. And this can be where you stay, right? This is a lot. Or slide your legs forward. Once more, squeezing through the back, pointing through your toes, and hugging your legs kind of like they're one big leg. You might stay here, or you might pull your chin back towards your chest in order to lower the head down. And just like in the beginning of class, can you send your breath into your sides? Send your breath into the bottom. And sending the breath also to the top. Now slowly, carefully, hugging your chin towards your chest. Use your arms to slide yourself back down. You can even bend your knees in. And we'll release the arms out to a T or to cactus. Lift your hips up into the left a few inches, like 2 to 6. And then drop your knees over toward the right. Allow this to release the low back. Inhale. Come on back to center. Lift your hips over to the right a few inches and drop your knees to the left. Inhale. Come on back to center. Hug your legs and round your forehead towards your knees. Almost like you're curling towards a little ball or into a little seed. Holding tightly. And just a little smaller, a little tighter. And release. Let your legs go long, let your arms go long. Close the eyes, entering into Shavasana. As you lie here, I want to invite you to connect with the idea of having enough and allowing that to be our little totem for abundance. Knowing that here in this moment, you are enough. This is enough. So you might even recall a time where you felt a deep sense of self-worth. Or maybe a person that makes you feel that way. Or a pet. And we take that idea of abundance and we let it become a sensation. We allow it to be a state of being. And we move that through each and every cell within the body. Out of scarcity into abundance. We have a few moments here to practice that. I'll wake you in just a bit when we're through. You're welcome to stay as long as you want. If you're ready to move on, you can start to deepen your breathing. And bring movements back into the body that feel natural. And then take your right arm up overhead and with your knees to chest, roll to your right side. And when you're ready, come up to a seat with your eyes closed and your palms connected. Bowing your chin to your chest, honoring your efforts. In between thoughts and in